Oh, hi girl. I love your t-shirt. What does it say? Show it everyone. Bad girls have more fun. Okay, I have to agree with that one.
Yes, we do. We do.
I love how you're just like in the bad girls category.
Yes.
Yeah.
Miss Mine.
Oh, and the skirt. Yes, yes. I rarely do see you in skirts. So yes, what brought this on?
I used to always wear skirts, and I'm a totally short skirt, not short skirt, but knee length. A skirt girl. In fact, in everything else, like denim skirts, and people used to think I have the same stuff, but no, I had a lot of denim skirts. So I've always been a skirt girl. But in the recent times, I've just been feeling like I wear a lot of more denims and jeans. I'm not very comfortable wearing shorter things. So the reason is that I just feel uncomfortable when I'm traveling and things. I feel like people just go.
People are staring.
Yeah, people just stare. Maybe not at me, but just like.
No, it is. I mean, that's a typical, like I had a friend who came from outside of India and she was just like, what is with people staring when you walk on the streets,
Especially
right?
when you're wearing something
Yeah,
short.
when you're wearing, especially when you're wearing something short. So I think there's only one way of dealing with it. Either you should, like, you either just stop caring about what people think.
Yeah.
And you just walk out of your house and you're like, whatever, I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of young women today are, right?
Yeah.
I think people, especially in a city like Bombay, of course, it's not as much. I think if you go further into the interiors of India, you do feel uncomfortable if you're going to wear something, which is a little revealing and you're in, like, say, a smaller part of, like a tier C city. Yeah, I mean, you yourself would know like to do that, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in general, I think there's this whole perception of good girls and bad girls. And I think that's what we wanted to talk about today, right?
Absolutely.
That's our topic
of our main energy topic.
Let's actually introduce the episode. We just started chatting as we always do.
I know.
So, yes, I'm Anjali Kirpalani
and China's Jasawala, and everybody knows that by now.
They should if they don't.
They don't excuse me. You're missing out a lot if you all don't.
Yeah, but this is main character energy. And yes, today's topic, I think every woman will relate to, right?
It's about the good girls and the bad girls and how society perceives them. And what is it better to be classified as and
what really actually is a good, what is even the classification?
Yeah, exactly.
What, determines whether someone really is a good.
Of course, like parents and our generation thinks that the good girl, bad girl is a totally different what we think. I don't think we think that anyone's a bad girl.
I don't think so. I think I would like to believe our generation, at least millennials, I think we're quite open-minded and non-judgmental. At least I generally, I'm pretty non-judgmental. When anyone tells me anything, I'm like, okay, fine. Firstly, nothing surprises me anymore.
Yeah, what is we surprised, and I think a bad girl, a person who says they are a bad girl actually is someone who is not conforming to things that are set for them by their by society. So that become like automatically, she's she's a bad girl. Like I've had this tag so much, Anjali, I cannot tell you. It's been like, I feel that, from all my relatives and everyone, like, people are not sent on sleepovers. My cousins were never sent to my house on sleepovers. I would corrupt them. And then my friends, I'm telling you, don't go to a house.
Oh, wow.
Definitely not an overnight. And
what were you showing them, or what were you even doing?
Nothing. It's just I'm I'm a very free thought. I'm very much into let's
you say what's on your mind, and you're not
enjoy this guy. That when you're younger, this guy, that guy. Why not? Just be happy. I'm interested in guys, and I'm showing your children a new way of life.
They're like, okay, we don't want them to have that kind of exposure.
But that's so sad because now, they all, all of them, even friends and all, they all want to be this person, and they are actually now, it's literally I'm seeing they're married. You've got kids, and now you want to be the person to, party, enjoy, because you missed out on the fun.
That's true. Yeah. I think I have seen that also a lot. A lot of people who got married, say, very young, or they did things by the book. Parents told them, now you've studied, now you get married. And they just said, yes.
Yeah.
Then when they reach, say, 20 years down the line, reach their 40s, they're like,
absolutely.
I've not lived. Yeah. I've not lived for myself.
Yeah, it's not fair. I mean, in fact, if I had a child or, I would always say live your life.
Yeah.
Know what's out there and then make your choice. Correct. Because then you would know good, bad, not good, whatever.
Correct.
You just can't, because you never know. What are you going to compare it to?
Yeah.
if you don't have black, how are you going to say this is white or whatever, you know? So
yeah, I think part of like growing up anyways is being allowed the freedom to make mistakes. I think parents should also know, see, you can give your children all the values in the world, right? Teach them right from wrong. But at the end of the day, you can't live their lives for them. They have to go out there and you have to trust them also to take the right call, right? Like, I think that's something that I feel like now I can say, when I was younger, I used to feel like my parents were very like, you know, they'd like, when I'd go out, they say, come back home at this time and those types of things. So I felt very like, oh my God, they're not giving me the freedom. But when I think about it, when it really mattered, they did give me the freedom. Like, you know, I was in college and university, but I told my parents I want to do this exchange program. So I was studying in South Africa, but I did this one semester in Canada. And I was 19, but my dad was, and I was 2 years younger than people in my class, right? Because I had saved 2 years when I moved. So my dad was, and being the third kid, you know, he was protective. My parents were protective. But when I told them this is something I really want to do, they were so supportive. And then they just said, okay, fine. Like, you know, go live your life, explore. And I'm so grateful they allowed me because those were the best 4 months of my life, right? So I think parents do, like, I feel like that's actually something I covered in my book, 19 Till I Die, which is about these 4 19-year-olds who meet at a university in Canada. It was inspired by my time there. But one of the stories was this girl, Tia, whose parents were very like controlling, conservative, all of that. And she just wants to escape from that, you know? And then basically the parents also understand that it's important to let your children have that freedom. And they're happy to see that when she comes back, she's actually become more responsible, because that is what happens when you leave your kids to actually live their lives. They will learn everything on their own. So she comes back responsible.
Take them out of the protective environment and let them just be who they are and discover who they are. Because we are not our parents or whatever. We have certain traits, but we can't. And the generation everything has changed.
Every generation, honestly, like even between like my sisters, because I told you I'm the youngest. So my eldest sister is 8 years older than me, and my the other one is 7. But I feel like there's a generation gap even there. Like even with, you know, so with each passing year, like we know the whole Gen Z and millennial debate also, right? Like,
of course.
We think we're so fun and cool, but the Gen Z is like you people are grandmas. So
stop taking these words and all these kind of words that I use, and they're like, you know what, that doesn't even suit you.
Like you're a completely different generation. So I think as a parent, I think it's important. Indian parents for sure. I've always felt that Indian parents, many of them are really too protective, and you know, they just don't give their kids the freedom to go live their life. Which is something once your child is an adult, you should do. You know, and you should kind of, so that very controlling thing, I think it won't even work. Honestly, going forward, I don't think the kids of today will stand for it any which way. So then you might as well create an open environment for them to.
But you know, I will look at it that different perspective. Now that you're talking, it's coming to me. They are being protective because a reason. Like if you see, like in our country, there's so many incidents. It's everywhere around the world. But it's a lot. And it's because you are wearing this and this happened.
And that always pisses me off so much.
It's like, because you are a person who will do this to anyone, and this is just an excuse that you will say, oh, she's wearing this, so this happened. You know?
Of course. I remember once getting into the heated debate with an older family member because, you know, it had come in the news that again, like some girl got raped and whatever. And she said, she was like, oh, you know, it's because of the way girls dress nowadays. And I got so angry. And I was like, you can't say that, because how do you explain then when something like this happens with a young child or with an old, you know, like with an 80-year-old woman, like a person who has to do something. They're mentally sick and they will target anyone. So you really can't shift the blame on the women, right? Obviously not.
We do to animals. I'm sorry. It's the worst thing. Like you're doing it to voiceless.
Of course. The world can be quite a sick place.
It's not in India. It's everywhere.
That's everywhere.
Only thing is where you're dressing, you know, you can't say, oh, this one's dressed, so she's a bad. That is like something, you know, I could dress up like this, but I may have the highest moral standards, ethics. I don't, but I can.
I was like, oh wow, what are you talking about? Don't lie so much also. Little lying is allowed. What morals? What ethics are we talking about?
No, but you know, and because when you're abroad, right? Like when I went to Disneyland, I was telling you this the other day, and it's so hot in Florida. I'm walking like, this was like a few years ago, and you're walking with your shorts, and you're hot, and you actually remove your top, and you're walking like in almost like, you know, just being modest, and not one person even bat an eyelid.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing their own thing, kids.
Yeah.
People, no one cares what you're
Yeah.
wearing. You
Yeah.
can like literally walk with that. It's normal.
Yeah.
It's absolutely normal. There's no desperation.
Mm.
There's no ogle.
Ogling,
There's no
yeah.
this. Like literally you'll feel like, am I not looking nice? No, but just jokes apart, it feels really comfortable.
Of course it is.
And you really feel comfortable. You don't feel, that you're doing something that is, out of this, or you're feeling like I am myself and no one is judging me.
Yeah.
And no one's looking at me in a way that, that because it's hot.
Yeah.
Everyone may be doing it. And I don't care. And I think even if a man, they go around shirtless. So it's okay.
Yeah, it's like,
Of course, you stay within your this, but I think
Yeah.
it's hot, right?
It is.
Like, imagine ever doing this in India. Like, ever,
yeah, the
any
kind
day.
of stares you'd get would be like,
Because not even if you wear like a tank
Yeah.
on a Jew beach or something, like, like I'm
Yeah.
just saying that it's just not done. And there it's like beaches, this, that. So dressing, I think
I think
abroad
it's changing. I feel like with the Gen Z,
Yeah.
I mean, it's changing in terms
Yeah.
of women not caring actually.
they are dressing up
which is
differently now,
great
yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Because women are just reclaiming their bodies.
Yeah.
They're like, whatever.
Yeah.
I will dress
Yeah.
how I want to dress. It makes you uncomfortable. Then deal with it, right?
Yeah.
And I think maybe then over time that should normalize
Yeah.
it where, probably then the men will
Right.
stop ogling or staring because it'll become that normal. I don't know. But, but
I don't think so.
definitely, I mean, I don't
Yeah.
wear that.
Yeah.
I think the starers will.
Public transport and all.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm telling you now, I love wearing skirts and I feel like, I'm just wearing jeans and I'm like, this one will look and this one
Yeah.
driving will look and this one will look and the waiter will. I'm like, why so much thought?
Yeah.
But when I'm younger, I didn't care. I
It's just-
did not people not look then, or maybe I'm more conscious now,
Maybe.
or whatever. It's
Maybe
not
you-
nothing to do with body. I've always been like,
Yeah.
gorgeous, curvy and all. So nothing to do with that.
Just that's a
and
it's
about
the
the
curse of
body thing.
It's
It's just
also the curse of beauty, which unfortunately both of us have. But now, what can you do?
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Yeah, but no.
But by the way, you were talking about a book. Please let's show everybody your book. That is,
These are all my books.
Okay.
But
yeah,
you
but
know,
that you're talking about the character.
I
in
was
the book,
talking
right?
about 19 till I die. But
Yeah.
honestly, if I think about it,
Yeah.
I think the reason that readers have always enjoyed my book also is because my main characters, which are usually always it's a female protagonist,
Yeah.
but they are always they have shades of grey. They're not
right.
like perfect goody two shoes, right?
Yeah.
Because I've always found that also very unrealistic.
Yeah.
I think all of us as human beings,
Yeah.
whether man, whether woman, everyone has
Yeah.
you have certain good qualities, you have shades of grey, and there are certain things that everyone makes mistakes, right?
Of course, yeah.
So, like for example, in Never Say Never, my first book, it was about this girl who has a crush on her best friend's boyfriend, right? And she doesn't really act on it until maybe a little later.
Yeah, yeah.
But she feels guilty when she does. But it's like a normal kind of, and she's jealous of her friend also. She's envious because she feels like she has the best life. But it's not like in this malicious way. It's normal human tendencies, right? So I think even when as a viewer, when I'm watching shows or movies or when I'm reading a book as well, I'm always drawn to those characters who are not your perfect goody two shoes ones.
Right.
The ones who have a few shades of grey, who make mistakes.
Yeah.
I think that is what makes a
Have
character
you read my
great.
book?
I have the.
No,
Should
no,
I lie
no.
on camera?
So my book, Who Wants to Marry Kalisa, is my own life story, my memoir, and everybody should read it because it's if you want to, if you're a good girl, want to be bad and have some motivation, and you can't meet me. Then must read my book.
I hope all the family members who were not allowed to spend time with you finally read the book.
I've written
and got influenced
I've
by
written
you.
about them, and I didn't have the guts to send them the book. They're like, "Where's your book? You didn't send that."
Yeah.
I said, Amazon. like so rude. Why did you send us? Yeah, I've written about the Farsi community and how they judged me when I went into a wedding and like, oh, you're still single, is it because of your little tires? You're like, who says that? This is how
That's what my aunties and uncles have always been known to.
book has started that way. And of course, my entire shade in the book, I think it's great. So people have loved it because then I'm showing my emotions and me trying to find the perfect man and dealing with my body issues. So finally the sympathy is with me. But I have done a lot of crap in my life.
Which
and
I
I put a bit in the book as well.
Yeah.
But it's like, like I'm excused because I'm so lovable.
Of course. Oh, yes. That's like,
It's a bad debate. I also have like a quote in the book, good girls don't make history, which is true. Yeah. Like if you want to make history,
because I think then if you have to be classified as a typical good girl, that means you're playing it very safe.
Yeah.
That means you're not standing up for yourself.
Yeah.
You're not speaking up, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's also that whole thing about women. It takes very little to be classified as a difficult woman. You literally just have to speak up for yourself, even if it's in the workplace.
Right.
When a woman like corrects someone the, it says, oh, please let me finish my thought.
Right.
They'll be like, oh, she's so rude. Like, she's such a bitch,
Is it?
right?
Is it?
Of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
So I feel like it's very easy to get labeled as difficult.
Yeah.
All you have to do is actually stand up for yourself, right?
Yeah.
And I think, so I think...
I don't know. I've been in the flying community, right?
Yeah.
So I was flying for many years with my airline, and we had a lot of women in it. And I think everything was accepted, like good, bad. You were the bad girls, and I would say we were bad, not in the bad sense.
Yeah.
But we dress up what you want, we speak how you want, we're making all sorts of double meaning jokes with the guy. I'm talking about with the crew, not with passengers. You don't go to passengers and stuff.
I don't think that job would last for long. Like, chilling with the passengers and
You don't have just passengers unless you want to have, unless a really good looking dude comes and you're not interested in the passengers, with each other, like with all your colleagues. And I think that whole thing was like, I think that also gave an image of me being like who chooses I'm a journalist, then I go straight into a flying, and flying means matlab uska to life matlab hoga hi hoga.
People always assume
Fast to hoga hi hoga, which is never true, because I've seen people out here when they don't have that life.
Yeah.
They're doing much more than I'm going there. I'm shopping. What's my next clothes? What's next to eat?
Yeah.
I'm more interested in that.
Yeah.
Of course, at one point with my other airline, when I was there, I was maybe younger, so I was more interested in looking at other stuff. But eventually, you're just like, you're just, because you have so much. When you have so much, you can't be bad. You just end up being yourself, and then you're just like very... you're much more balanced, you're much more calm. It's only when you don't, that's when I think it's repression that brings.
I completely have to
even with males,
Yeah.
you're repressing something, and then it kind of, I'm not excuses for them, like they're just, sorry to say, but I'm no male bashing here, but I'm talking about the horrible things that happen. I mean, of course, those men we don't love, we hate. So
Yeah. No, definitely. But I know exactly what you're saying, because I have to agree. And that's why I was saying, like, parents who give their kids the freedom, then they're the ones who will kind of explore things, but they won't be like crazy. Whereas if someone is being always curtailed from doing anything, suddenly if they get freedom, they are the ones who go nuts. And then they kind of
I keep saying, she's like, oh, I gave you too much freedom. This is the result of too much freedom.
I think that's all parents.
You gave it. Now you're saying too much. Who listened to me? Should I have to ask you where you're going? Out. What is out? And no, shall I call you?
Yeah.
I'm like, it was just like out. What is out? Out is like,
what is out there? No, but
like, literally,
but I
and
think,
we gave it too much. And I was a bad girl then, and a bad as in now, not naughty girl. I've always called myself a naughty girl.
Yeah.
But look at me now. Like, I've actually,
the switch.
I have switched. I've become totally different from what I was.
Yeah.
It's not that I want to. It's just that I've seen it all.
Yeah.
And that's great.
Yeah. And I think it's just that. I personally feel that people in their 20s, firstly, I feel like people should not, get married too quickly. I feel like you should actually, your 20s are for you to explore, to kind of know who you are. Because, they say like your prefrontal cortex is not even developed, your brain, till the age of 25.
Oh, okay.
Like, you're actually not even really who you are until then, right? So you should not rush into, personally, I feel like people should kind of take their time, get to know yourself, and have fun and enjoy the world, explore what there is. Yeah. And then you kind of, when you're ready, really kind of, settle down if you want to, or do whatever it is.
Of course.
But yeah, I do think that our world and our society, of course, has changed a lot, because when you think about it, even just, if we just look like 20 years back, there was this thing where people would reach a certain age and people would say, girl, you must get married by 25, 26, the latest. And if you remember, I remember when my sisters were, of that age, it was like, okay, I must get married at like 25. They both got married. And then over time we saw like things started changing.
Once they get married, the good girl thing goes on to the in-laws. And you're supposed to be really the best girl.
That's a whole different other topic. We can spend a lot of time. Those expectations of in-laws is like a whole different thing, right?
But it's in your own circle that you feel that, when it's closed up with your own families, this is where I feel a little sympathetic towards the girls who are closed up by their own families. Okay, coming home at a certain time, I can still understand. It's not about, it may be about safety, it may be road safety, which is absolutely legit for me. Like people drinking and driving. Yes, totally no for all this. I mean, I've done all this, but that is like, I'm talking about years ago when you're just like random and, but at a certain point as a parent, like when you grow older, you realize like when you have your own kid or you have your own, a child in the house, then you are stressing. And I'm like, why am I stressing now? Have I become old? And it's not old. It's because I have seen it.
Yeah.
Now I know
what can happen. Yeah. I mean, I think, and that's the thing, which I also personally experienced, as I told you, when I was, I was just waiting to go out. And when I got to study in Canada, I was like, yay, freedom. Until Well, one day I was actually at this bus stop where it had become really late, and the lights also went off, and I was waiting for someone to pick me up, and started getting scared, and I was like, oh shit, like this is what my parents were talking about. So that was fine. I kind of understood. Yeah.
Yes, even I was walking right in once in London, and it was like so dark, and 5:36 it becomes dark, and I had the shopping bags. I anyways cannot run.
I know how much you love running.
Yeah, you know how much I love running. And with those bags, I hardly 100 meters, but it was like, lady, what do you have? Lady,
and
where you
scary,
going?
right? At that moment, like your heart must have been.
Yeah, it was like shit. I don't know, it's a pretty lady, like going on. I think maybe he was probably high on something.
Sure.
And I was like, shit, today's gone. Like he wants, obviously must be wanting money or something.
But it's scary.
It's scary. Because if I'm so it means I have money, right?
Yeah.
And my bag is sitting, and I was like this. And of course, then I decided to do the Indian thing, which is chant some mantras. So loudly, I start with a Parsi mantra, which I won't say it now. We cannot share it. But I start loudly screaming the right? And then I look, he ran. He must have thought, oh, she's like, psycho.
She's like, if I'm high, she's probably higher than I'm on language she's speaking.
And she's like, oh my God, she's going to break
He must have had a possessed or something. He must have been like, oh shit, is she like really? Is this a spirit on the streets that I've seen?
Like, she could have anyway, my life is crap. I'm like, what else to do? And suddenly he's gone. And I'm like, I came into my granny because my grandmom, she told me, that anytime happens like this, you must say this. So I told her, she's like, see, I did it. And inside I'm thinking, it may have, of course, worked for that.
Yeah.
But also worked because I must with my brother was like, you must have looked so psycho looking. He must have shattered.
Yeah, he must have been, what the hell is happening right now? He must have started chanting his own prayers like, God save me from this crazy person. No, but having said that, so I know what you're saying. I think basically we all as women experience these scary sort of moments where your parents' words come in your head and you're like, you know what, they were probably right. The world.
Of course.
And I understand where it comes from. When parents are being protective, it is because the world isn't obviously always the best place. But, till when can you shelter your kid, right? Eventually, you have to go out. And as you dealt with that situation when I was at the bus stop, I was like, oh my God. And I started calling, my friend.
Did you ever hitchhike? Like
I've never done that.
So my friends and me used to hitchhike at one point from Lonavala Ghats and all. I'm telling you, those days, today we are like, what the hell were we doing? Like, that we could have been anything.
Okay. I had friends who used to do
that. And then these two guys are like, I am an actor. He will say, and the other guy, and we all 3 or 4 of us girls behind, and we would come to Bombay, stopping on the way, going to Duke's, eating, drinking, Farias, and then coming. And it was fine. Nothing happened to us. So it is lucky, of course.
Yeah, it's lucky, but that is
But
scary.
now you cannot. No, now it's like, I think those certain times of life, it was still okay.
Maybe.
Few years ago, I think it was.
I remember, I think maybe probably because my parents had always been protective. I think I was always cautious about certain situations. So I remember my friends telling me they also had hitchhiked in the truck and whatever and I was like, what? What the hell? The truck driver, you couldn't just take anything. Anything could have happened.
Yeah, now to my gosh, I would be like, I don't think I would even dream of it.
Yeah. But I mean, there are some things we do when you're younger because, you don't necessarily always.
You think you're totally
invincible and nothing will happen to you.
Nothing will happen.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, it has been a great chat, I think.
Yeah.
I think we can wrap it up by saying there is nothing about the clothes.
Definitely not. I just actually remember this one quote which says that some of the best people in the world are the people who, the people with the nicest hearts, are people who smoke and drink and party and live 100%. Crazy lifestyle. Yeah. And some of the, the worst people in the world are people who pray all the time. So I think don't judge a book by its cover, for sure. Definitely. I think honestly, more than how a person is, I think it's about how they are actually as, their character.
Yeah.
Are they a really good person with good intentions? Are they kind?
Yeah.
Then if the person is partying, doing whatever, I think for me, they're a good person.
Yeah.
Whereas, because I do know a lot of people who really have this whole thing, they have this image and persona that is so gentle and kind and I pray for everyone. But that they really, that they're the ones who are actually treating people badly. Yeah. They're the ones who are jealous. They're the ones who are not happy for someone in their moment of happiness.
They're trying to,
whatever, right?
Yeah,
so I think, honestly, go deeper when you're judging. And especially for women, I think people should really not be so quick to judge.
Not at all.
I think I think this comes from that generational gap also, where a lot of the older, people will judge girls to you just because of the way you dress. But they could be probably the sweetest people that will really help you if you need, something in your time that you need.
Exactly.
So don't judge a book by its cover. As much as we're authors.
Yeah.
But definitely, our our books, our covers are also great, and our materials also great. So don't judge other people by their covers. For sure, right?
Yeah. So thanks for watching us on Main Character Energy. And now we're going to do something special for you. So you better
like, share, subscribe.
we're going to do it for you.
We're all around entertainers.
Yes. And I'm wearing a skirt, so I can't miss like a twirl.
Sure.
Come for a twirl. What is it?
No, don't twirl. Please, on camera, we don't want to see that. You're off. You can do that in the nightclub. On your own time, please twerk, not here. But let's entertain our audiences because so while we were sitting there, I had this idea that we should come up with a dance. Well, whatever. One brain now we have.
Okay.
Main character energy. Everyone like, share, subscribe. Yeah, that's the move.
Okay, I'm Main Character Energy. You said this.
And then we end like that.
Okay. Has this dance work? Now let me show you my dance.
Okay.
Your main character. Let's see. Then we take the audience vote.
Oh yeah, whose dance is better?
Okay. Oh god. Oh no, you talk this. Main character energy. Woo!
Wow, amazing. Love it. I mean, if that didn't motivate people to like, share, subscribe, I don't know what else you could
exactly
possibly do.
Yeah.
Talk on camera, maybe, but no. Cool, thank you, bye.